I want to show you how to handle if the prospect says at the beginning of a conversation, so let's say you're 1 or 2 minutes into a conversation, could be an outbound lead, could be an inbound lead, could be an appointment you have at a house or at a company you're selling to, and you ask a few questions and they stop you and they say, hey, can you just tell me the cost and I'll tell you if I'm interested? Or, hey, can you just tell me kind of what you do and then I'll tell you if I need it? How many of you actually get that objection, and then what do you actually do with that? Because you have one of three choices when you get that. Now, I will tell you that is primarily triggered by your tonality and how you're asking the questions that actually cause them to say this to you. Because did they wake up that morning and plan this response? Did they plan it out? Like, when I talk with that salesperson at 3:35 today, I think I'm gonna get triggered about 2 minutes in and just say, tell me the cost and I'll tell you if I'm interested. No, that's a triggered response based on your tonality and other reasons where you might sound scripted, or you're too monotone, or you're way too excited, or you're too timid, like a nervous kid or something. But there's a reason why that was triggered in their nervous system. So you have to know how to handle it. I'd rather you prevent it, so once you really learn it, you master, you commit to mastering sales and persuasion, it's very unlikely you'll ever get this again. But if you do, I'm going to show you what to do, okay? So you've got three things you can do when they tell you that. First of all, hey guys, Jeremy Miner here. Look, a lot of you leave comments wanting me to help you sell more. So the easiest way to get a hold of me, the quickest way, is to text me. So text me right now. It's 480-637-2944. So 480-637-2944. Listen, I started this company to help you learn how to close more deals, but do it the right way. Text me right now. Let's get back to the training video. You can just tell them what it cost. So a lot of people do that. They're just like, it's cost XYZ dollars. And as you know, that's probably not a winning strategy, because most of your prospects say, I can't afford it. And why did they say that? Because you didn't build a gap. There's no gap there. They don't recognize they have a problem or problems, so they don't feel a need to change. They're just focused on the cost or the price because it's too early in the conversation. So this strategy is a losing strategy if you want to make a lot of sales, okay? The second thing I see most people do is they try to sweep it underneath the rug. So they just kind of like, we'll go through that later. I'm not even sure I can help. Let me ask you. And they try to sweep it underneath the rug. They're like, we'll cover all that later, but let me ask you first. And they try to ignore it and then just kind of hope and pray the prospect doesn't bring it up again, and then just bring it up in the presentation. As you know, that will work with some people, but most people, they either like shut down because they know you're trying to hide it, so they feel like you're trying to hide something, like they don't trust you, so they'll shut down, they'll stay surface level. When you ask questions, they're just going to stay surface level with you. Or if it's an A-type, you'll typically trigger them more and they'll be like, no, just tell me how much it's going to cost, or they'll just hang up. Or they'll just like tell you to get lost, okay? So the best way to do it is you want to answer it, but answer it indirectly where it makes sense on why you don't know what that cost is going to be yet, okay? So you're gonna answer it indirectly, and I'm gonna show you how to do this. I'm first gonna show you a generic format, and then I'm gonna show you some different industry-specific examples, but you're gonna notice the structure, the format is almost identical. You just plug in what you sell. It's that simple, okay? Here's a generic version. So the first thing that I have to do is I have to get the prospect to let their guard down, because if they say, hey, can you just tell me how much it's gonna cost? Or, hey, enough of the questions, can you just tell me the price? I'll tell you if I'm interested. That means you triggered them, okay? So the sales resistance is there. So what's your first job is to get them to do what? Disarm them where they let their guard down. Because if you can't do that, probably not going to be a sale here, okay? So first of all, I'm just going to agree with them. I'm like, yeah, for sure. Well, I'll go through all that with you for sure. I mean, it's really all going to depend on your blank, and your blank. And once I understand all those different details, I can go through all the different options we have for our clients. Would that help you if I did that for you? So notice what I did. I just agreed. So the first saying, let's come over here. I'm just agreeing with them, like, yeah, we'll go all through that for sure. I mean, it's really all going to depend on your blank, and your blank. And once I understand all those details, I can go through all the different options we have for clients. Would that help you if I did that for you? Okay. So I'm just agreeing, and I say I'm going to go over that with you, And it's all going to depend on what are the 3 things it depends on. Now, a lot of times when I ask clients this or companies this, they don't really know the 3 things it would depend on. So I have to kind of jog it out of you, okay? So I'm just going to show you some examples. Let's say if I was a CPA firm and I'm calling a company to do their taxes, or it's a lead to do their taxes, or an individual, and they're like, well, how much are your services, how much is it going to cost me? And they say that in the first 2 minutes before I built any gap, found any problems. I just agree, like, oh yeah, we'll go through all that for sure. I mean, it's really all going to depend on like how much the IRS claims that you owe. So let's say that you sell for a company that helps people get out of IRS tax debt, that negotiates their IRS tax debt down. We got a lot of clients in this. We just did a big training for one of our clients out in California, Anthem Tax Services. Great company if you need some help with that area. And so I had to kind of jog this out of their mind, like what it would depend on, what their service. Well, could you just tell me how much it's going to cost me to get rid of this debt? Oh yeah, we'll go through all that for sure. I mean, it's really all going to depend on like how much the IRS claims that you owe, you know, how long we need to keep you protected after that, and really how much we could actually save you. And once we understand all those different details, I can go through all the different options we have for our clients. Would that help you if I did that for you? Okay, so notice it all depends on what? How much the IRS claims that you owe, that's the first thing, okay? How long we need to keep you protected, okay? And that would be based on different factors on how many years, you know, they owe on taxes, okay? Or I could even say, you know, how many years they're claiming you still owe taxes from, and then how much we can actually save you. And once I understand all those different details, I can go through all the different options we have for clients. Would that help you if I did that for you? Yeah. And now when you're asking questions after that, now they're far more open because it makes sense why you don't know, because you don't know these things. You have to find out the information from them. Does that make sense? Okay.